One day I stumbled over a video which was about Stephen King, the writer who published dozens of novels. What fascinates me isn't just his stories, it's his process. Because King writes every single day. No breaks, no waiting for inspiration. He calls writing his daily job and he treats it like exercise. So when I heard this first, it was awkwardly familiar to me. What if I used the same method for my art? I just focused on drawing a page every single day. So instead of writing 6 pages every day, I want to draw 1 page of an A4 size paper every day. And it should be either way, ink or watercolor or anything that pushes my art skill in order to improve. So in this video, I want to share what this experience taught me, not just only about drawing, but also about showing up, failing, and growing every day. So Stephen King writes 2,000 words a day, so around about 6 pages. My version is 1 page a day. And now you could say, well, that's not a lot. But have you ever drawn a full page every day of something and do that every single day? Because some days these sketches are fast and messy, and some days they flow easily. But the point is the same. You build rhythm and you try not to craft a masterpiece. After a while, my pen starts to move before I thought. And that's when the real art begins to appear. Because I always struggle with what should I draw today? And sometimes I would even sit on my couch in the evening and think about tomorrow I will draw this. And it's the greatest idea ever. I go to bed, I wake up, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh no. Yesterday that idea sounds amazing. Today, it doesn't anymore. And the biggest problem in all that is the overthinking part. I was constantly thinking about what should I draw? Does it match my professional quality since I'm a professional? It actually clicked at a point when I found a book that my mother gifted me where it was written, "There are no ugly drawings, only too high expectations." Chapter 2, Don't Wait for Inspiration. So Stephen King says, amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just gets up and go to work. I used to wait for the perfect idea or the right mood. But when I forced myself to start, even when I didn't feel like it, something very strange happened. The act of drawing created inspiration itself. Once the first line was down, my brain woke up. Sometimes the bad drawings turn into interesting ideas once halfway through. Starting is always the hardest part. After that, the work carries you. And the more and longer you create on a daily routine, the better and easier it will flow out of you. Chapter 3. A simple goal. So referring to Stephen King, his daily goals keep him grounded. But for me, I needed something very small, but also clear for my goal. And more, I realized chasing the perfect head, the perfect painting or whatever doesn't make any sense. Because I'm creating every day because I love creating. I don't create because I want to create the perfect picture. The rush and the happiness feeling of something that turned out well goes away very fast. That would mean by any point I would stop. But I don't want to stop. I want to create. So I focus on that. And that's why I keep my goals very, very little. Sometimes it is drawing faces, drawing people with hats, drawing people sitting, drawing people standing, drawing people jumping, drawing people running, and so on and so on. I keep it extremely simple. And when you know your goal, you take the pressure out of yourself. There is no big question. What should I draw today? You already know. And even better, if you pre-think for the next day. What do I want to draw tomorrow? Over time, the small goal builds a mountain of progress. 10 days become 30, 30 becomes 100, and suddenly you realize this is who I am now. Someone who draws every day. So one day I bought this folder to put all my drawings in. It had 60 empty foil packages. So my calculation was, okay, I can fit at least 120 pieces inside of this. The premise was I will only take the drawings that I like. I filled it up in a matter of 2.5 months. And when I went through it, I actually put even more pages in. So now I have this folder with at least 200 pages of drawings, and I'm already halfway through into the next folder. And if I look at this, it's a mountain of drawings already. Chapter 4, Embrace imperfection. Stephen King finishes his drafts even when he thinks they're terrible. He knows the bad parts are part of the process. I had to learn that too. Some days my drawings looked awful. Before I would have stopped. I wouldn't draw any much more. But now I finish them anyway, because finishing is a skill. It teaches you to see things through, even when the results disappoint you. There are no bad drawings or paintings, only too high expectations. Of course, in the process you can mess something up, but if you realize, you know that you messed up, so you can do better next time. Every ugly drawing is a proof that you showed up. And strangely, those bad ones become my favorite pages because they remind me I kept going. I know that if I have a bad day, all I'm focusing is doing my duties and waiting for the next day. And this will happen to you. Creativity is a curve. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Chapter 5. Build a routine. Stephen King writes the same time each day. The same desk, the same cup of coffee. Or actually, I think he drinks tea. The ritual tells his brain it's time to create. And I tried that. I tried to copy that exact idea. I made my small routines like making a double espresso, putting on the same playlist, cleaning the table, opening the sketchbook. And after a few weeks, my body started to respond automatically. The ritual becomes a doorway. I always have to think about this moment as a kid when you eat something really nice for the first time while watching a TV show or watching a movie. For me, it always created a very strong memory connected to the thing I ate. I think this is the same way we can use our brain to program us into work mode. When the brush touches the paper, I'm already focused. When I start to draw, I'm already in focus mode. Routine doesn't kill creativity, it protects it. And that's my personal opinion. Chapter 6. Quantity creates quality. Whenever I have a new student in my mentorship program, the first thing I tell them is quality is the most important thing. Because my job is to teach them to be a professional artist, which comes into creating quality work. When it comes to the longevity, the art journey, or the life of an artist, I would say quantity creates quality. People often think that quality comes from talent. But for example, Stephen King and every daily artist know that quality comes from quantity, because what we need are the reps. When you make hundreds of sketches, your hand learns on its own. You stop overthinking. You develop instincts for the line, the form, and the color. Out of the 100 drawings, maybe 10 will feel good. But without the 90 other sketches, those 10 wouldn't even exist. The numbers teach you patience and humility. You start to see progress, not in single pieces, but across time. Chapter 7. Creation from judgment. What I really liked about Stephen King is when I read that he said he writes first and edits later. He doesn't mix these two stages. And for me as a concept artist, that also makes sense, because we always start with writing down an idea and then we ideate on that. I try to draw the same way. When I'm creating, I don't judge the results. I focus on the feeling, the rhythm, the gesture, the color, the construction, the design. Later, and I study the drawing and I feel like, okay, what did good? Did I like the shape? Do I like the flow? Do I enjoy how I drew the hair? That's my editing stage. The time to learn, not to criticize. Separating those steps keeps my creativity alive. And this is what you need to ask yourself. Is your creativity alive? Judgment has its place, but not while the ink is still wet and not while you're still drawing. Chapter 8. Finish what you start and reflect. King finished every story, even the ones he never published, because completion builds trust between you and your craft. And it is also for your mental game as an artist extremely important. It's kind of like starting a game all over but never finishing the story. I try to finish every drawing, even the small ones, even the failures. If you looked at Kim Young-ji, he always used ink as his last stage. Whenever he messed up something, he took more ink and he just darkened it, or he made a nice shape out of it. Over time, that habit changed me. I became less afraid of my mistakes, more curious about the next page. And Stephen King writes 2,000 words a day. I draw only a page. Different tools, same principle. So important is to show up, create, and repeat. And that's how artists grow. Not through flashy, genius ideas struck by lightning or sitting on a toilet. But by the way, Eminem has his best ideas on the toilet. But through steady work. Did you ever struggle to finish your ideas? If so, I hope this video brought you a bit more clarity and some things to think about. Feel free to like and subscribe. Appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. And if you try out your own version of the Stephen King method, tell me in the comments. I love to see what you discover.